Online security breaches carried out by hackers. Big tech companies sell information about you, and the threat of international cyber warfare are among the threats we see from the advancements in technology. I covered some of that in my conversation with Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang. Now, you have talked about being friends, having friends in Silicon Valley, I should say. There have arguably been abuses when it comes to the use of personal data. The European Union has cracked down by establishing tough penalties against companies that don't protect data privacy well enough. Where do you come down on this?
I think that we should do much more where the big tech companies are concerned. They've been getting away with a lot over the last number of years. And it's not just data. I mean, there are many other things. It's certainly there's been the impact on our democracy over the last number of years. Now, there's the economic effect that Amazon's having. So I mentioned before that malls are closing. 30% of malls will close in the United States in the next 4 years because Amazon is sucking up another $20 billion in e-commerce every year. And that's something we do have to look at. We have to say, look, is it healthy for one company to literally comprise 50% of e-commerce? So there are many, many issues with technology that we need to tackle meaningfully. And it's one reason I'm running for president, is that I understand technology and business much more so than many, I would say, the vast majority of not just the other candidates, but the legislators. And we can see it with the embarrassing questioning of Mark Zuckerberg and other leaders in Silicon Valley, where it's clear our Congress is dangerously behind the times.
Well, when we talk about the data privacy issue, though, what can be done to protect every American's interest, their own data? When we see the European Union actually taking significant steps, the United States has fallen behind. Do you think that Congress should do something to penalize these countries, or should they just be able to own our data willy-nilly?
I would actually take it one step further, and I would say that we own our own data as a property right. And if anyone's going to economically benefit from that data, it should be us. And so I would go one step further than saying, hey, we should fine these tech companies when they violate our privacy, which we totally should. But even further, if someone's going to benefit from our data, should it not be us? Are we not the owners of our own information? And I'm going to take that a step further. Who should be benefiting from the fact that our economy is up to $20 trillion? And I'm going to argue it should be us, the owners and shareholders of this great country. And that's why job one is to declare a dividend for the American people.
Now, what can be done, I guess, by the federal government ongoing to keep up with technology? Because we have a lot of lawmakers, as you mentioned, who are older, who might not be as technologically savvy. What can be done to establish a real, I guess, technological policy?
Well, for starters, you're going to make me president of the United States, and then I'm going to get to solving some of these problems. But barring that, I would create a new Department of Technology and anoint a new Secretary of Technology, because this should be a cabinet-level post. And that person should not be sitting in an office in D.C. away from the action. That person should be in Silicon Valley, where they can regularly meet with people and monitor and be like the voice of the government there. Because right now we're living in these silos where Silicon Valley is one silo, Washington, D.C. is in its own world, and they're not really able to understand each other. And that's something that we need to change as fast as possible.
Andrew Yang, a lot of interesting policies. We cannot get to all of them here. Obviously, we appreciate your time. Perhaps we'll talk again down the line, scheduling permitting.
I would love that, Jim.
Appreciate it.